Hello everyone, this is Julia. Thank you so much for joining me on my craft room adventures. Today, I'm back with a wintry scene card on the Butterfly Reflections Inc. blog, and this is actually one of my quickest scene cards ever, I think. This card came together so quickly because there really wasn't that much to color, luckily. So I just stamped out the little mice from Mice on Ice by Fawn. And I just colored them using E50 markers. I used E55, E53, E51, and E50, and a little bit of R20 on the cheeks. I'm really not adding that much shading there because the images are so small. Also adding a little bit of the E50 on the bellies. Then I stamped the over the mountain borders, the mountain one, and also one of the tree borders. And I just stamped them on a piece of Neenah Solo White cardstock. And I used the stitched pond die to create my skating lake edge at the bottom. I'm using C3, C1 for my mountains just to give some shading to the edges. And I'm blending that out with C0. And then with C00 just to blend everything together. Then I'm adding one more layer of the same shades just for some added shading. Again, going in with a C3 just to shade under the very tops of the mountains. And adding a little bit more of the the C1 from the bottom up. For my hills, I'm using BG quadruple 0 just to add a little bit of shading on my snowy hills. I'm blending that out with a colorless blender, and that still wasn't quite dark enough, so I'm also using the BG10. And then going over it again with the BG quadruple 0 and the colorless blender. For my trees, I'm using E55 and E53 for the tree trunks. And for my trees, I use GO2. I'm just coloring them upside down because I always find that that's easiest to add the little flicks. Then adding G00. And then I'm going in with G17 as my darkest shade. I find that leaving out the darkest shade on my first layer of the trees just makes it so that I don't blend out too much of the darkest details. Then I'm using C5, C3, and C1 for the little ice skates. For two of the scarves, I'm using BG11, BG10, and BG quadruple 0. And for the other ones, I'm using VO5, then going in with VO9 because I wanted it a bit darker, again with VO4, and VO1. And that finishes off my coloring. Then I'm ink blending a piece of Bristol smooth cardstock with dusty Concord and milled lavender. I'm just using the mountain border that I just colored to figure out how far I would need the blend to go, so that I would still have the dusty Concord showing behind the mountains and not just the milled lavender. Just blending the colors back and forth to get like a nice purple. And then I'm blending from the bottom up as well, because I figured I could just add it to the same panel and then add the colored piece with a bit of foam. So I'm ink blending tumbled glass and broken china. Just leaving the bottom edge as just the tumbled glass and just adding some details with the broken china. Then I'm also adding in a little bit of the peacock feathers to make it a little bit more green to match with the coloring that I did. And then I'm using the Neko Shimmer Spritz to add lots of shine for like an icy lake look. I used a grit transparency to line up my sentiment and stamped it with VersaFine Onyx Black ink. And now I'm using some Finetech metallic watercolors to add some splatters to my background. The color I'm using is Silver Glitter and Sterling Silver. I also die cut lots of little snowflakes. They are from the mini snowflakes and also from the Magic Iris Snow Globe add-on. I just cut them out of white cardstock and added them with liquid glue. I stamped one of the little swirly trails, also with Broken China Distress Oxide. I added my panel with some foam tape behind it. And now I'm just adding my little mice, also with some foam squares, all around my panel. Then I'm adding some shimmer pen to the accessories of my mice. And I'm also adding lots and lots of stickles. These are the Stardust ones. I'm adding it to the mountaintops and also to the like snowy hills to just make them look nice and shiny. And that finishes off my card for today. There you can also see the sparkle on the like icy lake, which I think is so pretty. Here in Germany, we're basically at the beginning of winter, so usually end of February or beginning of February is when it gets really cold. So going ice skating with those cute mice just sounds like so much fun. Thank you so much for watching and for spending some time with me today. I will have links to the blog post on the Butterfly Reflections Inc. blog and also to the shop down below. And as usual, have all the products listed below the video in the description. Have a wonderful day. Bye!